Noff Klibber Hi, friends. Darth Momo here. And today we're going to talk about the final 6 episodes of Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. I finally got around to watching these. I know they came out, I think, it was like beginning of April or beginning of May, or beginning of March. It was sometime around there. I don't remember when exactly. I watched a couple weeks ago, and then I just watched the last 4 all in one run. And I gotta say, I don't really have too much of a change in stance on this show as I did when I reviewed the first 19 episodes back in the fall last year. I thought the plots were pretty basic still, but at the same time, like, I didn't have high hopes for it. Like, I'm watching this because it's canon. Like, that's really it. Like, it's a preschool show, or it's geared towards preschoolers and kindergartners and very, very young ages. Like, I'm not going in expecting anything good or anything high quality, I should say, anything that I would personally get a lot out of. But, and I mean, for the most part, that's how it played out. Like, looking back at the last 19, or the first 19 that I watched, there's only a couple of them that stick out to me. Like, one where the pirates and the Jedi had to work together. That was kind of cool, I guess. And then, like, the one with the High Republic characters, and then the one with the Wookiees and Life Day. Like, those are really the standout ones that I really remember. I mean, if I really thought hard about it, I could tell you a couple plot points here and there, but for the most part, like, it's a very basic show. So don't go in expecting to get anything really high out of it. Like, it is what it is. It's a preschool show. As for these 6 that I watched, I'm going to be honest, I kind of dozed off through parts of a couple of them. Again, they're very basic. The only one that I really liked, so we'll talk about the last one separately, because I actually kind of liked the very last one. So out of the first 5, because they're all split in double episodes, right, like SpongeBob, there are 2 11-minute episodes in a 22-minute block. The only one I kind of liked was the one where Kai goes into a cave, a force cave, and there's visions and all that. That was kind of cool. I like that stuff. I like force trippy stuff. So that was kind of cool. Otherwise, for the most part, like I said, these are very basic, kind of boring. I'm watching them to watch them. I'm not watching them to enjoy them. But the last one, I will say, was kind of cool. So not only was there a bunch of High Republic connections, because it was the dedication of Starlight Beacon. For those of you who didn't watch any of my previous Young Jedi Adventure review, I did read the first book of the High Republic, The Light of the Jedi. I don't really keep up with the era or read the stuff. I couldn't really get into it, but I have a very basic idea of a couple things going on and some characters, just through casual Star Wars lore knowledge, through like the Timelines book and that. But a couple of the characters that already popped on are back. And a couple more, like the main Jedi at Starlight Beacon. That was kind of cool to see him back. Or see him. I don't think he's been in the show yet. Maybe he has. I don't remember. And then the Chancellor at this time, Chancellor Lena So, she was in it, and that was kind of cool. Basically, the plot is the pirate Tabor, kind of the main antagonist throughout most of the episodes, is trying to steal something on Starlight Beacon, the dedication plaque. And we actually figure out, I was wondering, like, a couple episodes before watching this one, I was like, I wonder if they're ever going to unmask Tabor. And they do, and he's this prince kid that was a little, like, I guess, snotty at first, but he came around and did the right thing in one of the earlier episodes of this batch. And I was like, what? That's who he is? No way. And I even stopped and went back just to see his first reaction when he sees the Jedi. I'm like, that's why he recognizes them. He just doesn't know them as Jedi because they look like Jedi. Like, he knows who these guys are. And they play on that, too. He comes close to revealing himself at one point, but he doesn't end up revealing it himself. But it was a really interesting plot twist, and that was actually kind of cool. It felt like some sort of reward for watching all these. I don't know if that was the initial plan for him, because his alter ego that the Jedi know him as, he doesn't pop up until, that would have been episode 20 or 21. So, like, I don't know if this was planned from the very beginning, but it was still a cool plot twist. I enjoyed it. And I don't know, like going into this, I was like, oh, this last one might be cool. It was a double episode. It was a full 22-minute episode. It wasn't split into 2 parts. I was like, yeah, this is kind of, you know, this one might be cool. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't think this show should be renewed for season 1. And after watching that, I'm like, oh, well, now I kind of want to see a season 2. Just because, like, that last episode felt like an actual episode of a show. Like, there was a moment early on in the beginning when they were doing their training sequence, and a clear moment where Kai would have had a slip up or been like, no, I'm going to do the selfish thing. No, he's like, no, we're going to work as a team and we're going to do this together. Like, that felt like an actual progression of arc, whereas through most of the other episodes, like, it's a preschool show. You got to continue to iterate certain lessons, and I feel like there's not really overarching arcs for any of these characters. But that being said, like, the finale actually felt like some sort of progression of an arc. So that was kind of cool to watch. Like I said, I kind of liked the last episode. That would be the only one that I actually, like, vouch for and be like, hey, you know what, that was all right. But that's episode what? That's the 25th. That's 1 out of 25. So, again, like I said, overall, I think overall I'm going to give the show a D. Just because, it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, it's a preschool show. That's not real Star Wars. I'm going to give that an F. That's like a 0.5 out of 10. But, like, it wasn't setting out to be anything special. It wasn't trying to be the Clone Wars. It wasn't trying to be, you know, Andor. It was trying to be a preschool show in Star Wars. And that's essentially what it successfully did. And out of other preschools shows that I've seen throughout my life when I was younger, and that I've watched with, you know, like, younger family members when I was younger, you know, I haven't seen a preschool show in ages, of course, but, like, you know, from little bits you may catch here or there just as a younger kid, like, I would say this was on the higher end of them. And yeah, obviously, I don't think Star Wars is the best setting where I would like to see a preschool show, but I think out of knowing the lore and the era, or the eras, this was probably the best era to do such a thing. And I would almost say to a degree it worked. Like, you can't have a preschool setting like this, a preschool show setting in the Clone Wars era or the Dark Times. But in an era 200 years before the wars, when it's just peace and prosperity, like, okay, you know what? The way they set it up in this show, I thought it kind of worked. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Do I recommend this show? If you want to keep up with canon, and I could say as a pure motivation for just keeping up with canon, sure. If you like the High Republic, you know, maybe just check out a couple of the High Republic episodes that tie into the larger story of the High Republic that have those characters. There's maybe 2 or 3 of them. If you like, because it does have the first on-screen adaptations for several characters that play prominent roles in the books and the comics. If you have a young kid at home, yeah, absolutely watch it with them, you know, if you guys like Star Wars. But otherwise, like, to casual fans, I think this might be the first one that I'm going to say. Unless you're purely interested in catching the canon, maybe sit it out. Or if you really want to watch it, don't go in with high expectations. Otherwise, I know I'm sorry for being late on this, but hopefully you guys are okay with that. I don't really see too many people talking about these, so I don't think I've got a lot of competition in that regard. But nevertheless, thank you guys for joining in. Darth Momo out, and may the Force be with you. Always. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, comment down below and hit that like button. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find them in the light.